And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the spaceship stream. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Coming to you from the spaceship studios from a galaxy far, far away. And we have some more updates about trials, and we're going to get more into the shapeshifters and other things we talk about on here as well. And I'm about to switch it over for everybody to see me. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to just put it right here, and people can see me right now. Alright, so hello everybody, it's me, Alien Spaceship. And now what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be getting into the different topics and stuff, and I'll be doing is before that, which I will be playing the pirate game. Okay, so now I'll be getting that started. Okay. All right, and here we go. Game is now loading. That is what's going on now. And today, the Karen Reed trial, it had half a day today. They didn't go to the full length, and there's no Karen Reed tomorrow. The other ones will be on, though, including Lori Daybell trial. Alright, so now I'll be switching it over to the other screen so people could see the game. Alright, and here we go. Alright, now we are in the volcano island. So basically what I did was I got myself a new green hat. And I think it looks very festive. It looks kind of like, kind of reminds me of moss or some sort of slime. It's kind of like a Halloween looking hat. Now I'll see about the bright green accented high wing hat. If you located this dark black, would it be double dark black? Yeah, so that one's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I got it during one time when I was plundering. Yeah. So today with Lori Daybell, they were talking about they're getting the jury together, and they thought maybe there would be some stuff today for people to see, but it didn't quite happen that way because they're still getting the jury together, and they ended it for the day. And tomorrow, allegedly, they should be starting. And I've been hearing they're going to be starting for a couple of days, but it'll be officially should be tomorrow because they were just kind of giving updates about the jury selection that will be happening. I didn't look at the Carlos trial, what was going on with that. I didn't look at that one. I looked at the first state murder trial. That's what I was looking at today. It was interesting forensic analysis. I really thought it was pretty cool. I like it when I see people talking about the cell towers and things like that. I think that is pretty interesting to see because I like technology and learning about tech. I think it's very important to me. So they're talking about some forensic analysis today with that trial and just kind of showing the different ways they detect people texting, people doing calls, things like that. And I personally think that it's pretty cool to do that. You know, to be able to know that type of information because in these trials it's very important where someone was murdered by some alleged suspect and you can maybe pinpoint where they were or they weren't. And I think that usually can tell if somebody was in a location. Now they can use things to, if they're real tech savvy, to not be detected by, that way. But it's usually quite difficult, and the average person would be detected by that. So I think that is very interesting to see how that plays out. Hello, True Crime. It's really great to see you. Welcome. So what I'm referring to is the first date murder trial. It's a new one on the Law and Crime channel. And I think that it's a very disturbing trial, and that one has brought people together more than the Karen Reed one has caused division. So yeah, it's the first state murder trial, and the defendant is called Maxwell Anderson. You know, they have been showing security camera footage of them together. And I think so far he is extremely guilty, in my opinion. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. And True Crime says our former police chief started a podcast. It's extremely interesting to listen to their side of things. If you'd like to tell me the channel name, I would like to know about it. Or whatever the podcast is called, I'll certainly check it out. Thank you. Yeah, and I think that this one is obviously the defendant is guilty in my opinion. It doesn't really seem like there's many people that think he is. I don't see anybody that say he's innocent so far. There might be people, I just don't know. I don't even know if trolls have said he's in. I think some trolls said he's innocent, but they're just saying stuff to get a reaction. Yeah, and I think that the defendant, this may not always be an indication, but his eyes seem very there's no soul in him, and he seems angry. So he certainly seems like trouble. I think that they were at such a distance during the party. I mean, during their time together, they just seem like in two separate boxes. They don't seem like they were together in the sense like they're having a good time and hanging out. No way. It seems like she seemed disturbed by him. The Crime Cast on Apple. Police Chief Rhodey is co-host. Watch the Jasmine Pace one. Okay, True Crime. Thank you, and shout out to that podcast. I recommend everybody check that out. Okay, thank you for the information. So, I was seeing earlier that the cellular towers, and I thought it was interesting that they can tell when somebody is offline. They can tell if someone is offline. They can tell someone if they're online. So, I think that with the tech, it's very good to see how you can pinpoint things like that. So, the point is that the defendant, was at a certain place at a certain time to indicate he was doing the crime that he was doing, and the defense will try to say it's not what it looks like, but it is what it looks like. And today, one of them was wearing pink, and then I don't know all the characters, but there's this one guy that looks very young, and he was acting. Some people in the chat say he was acting kind of fidgety, and he was showing the charts and what the witness knew about from the paper, and that was very interesting detective type stuff. Yesterday I was seeing Carlos on the stand talk about his his situation, how he was seeing demonic creatures and shapeshifters. That's why I made also these streams about shapeshifters, because I've been going into what the shapeshifters are and stuff from history, what they allegedly do, things like that. So I think that the shapeshifters were quite intriguing to look at. But that's what because he has schizophrenia and he believed he was seeing these shadow people and these shapeshifters and these demonic things. I still think he needs to be locked away, and if they could get him the help to treat that, that's good. But he does not need to be released back to society. But I've not been keeping up with Carlos today. I was mainly focused on the Lori Vallow updates, Lori Daybell updates. I've been focused on this first state murder trial, those two that we're going on today. And Karen Reed, I didn't get to see it, but I heard it was just the same clown show as usual. And I think, from the police perspective, it's very telling, because Miranda was talking yesterday and the day before about police camera footage. And when someone sees, police camera footage, these police, they're what they go through to do these arrests and stuff. So they go through a lot. They're on the front lines in these situations. So it's always interesting and fascinating to know what they went through and their perspective on catching these criminals. Because they see it firsthand. And they have to have the discipline to go through it in spite of what they might feel when you're dealing with someone dangerous. And I'm sure that they remember these things and they catch somebody that is extremely disturbing, probably the rest of their lives. I'd say it probably would affect them, especially if there is an altercation. And it's good that we have these trials available for us to see, because a lot of countries don't do stuff like that with trials. They don't go and tell us, in other countries, they don't tell their citizens what trials are going on. So as I said, it's good in this country that we do that. And true crime, if you're still here, is there any trials that you're looking at right now? You're covering? And there's Jody. That trial is something that we've been discussing. She's kind of nuts. With that murder trial is going to be very interesting. Okay. We're going to take that ship. All right. Go over here. Do the same thing. All right. Okay, so now going after the Monarch ship here. Usually this ship was quite difficult to fight in the past, but now it's not as difficult because the ship is more powerful than it was before. All right. Okay, now going this way and attacking. Yeah, so in my opinion, the defendant is completely guilty, who is in the first state murder trial, completely guilty. There is no question about that. I think Karen Reed is just a big mess. That trial just keeps on going on and on. Okay, now what I want to do is ram right into this one. Okay, then firing this way, attacking that one. And Carlos certainly needs help, but needs to be locked away forever, or a very long time, until, for a long time. Oh, hello, Liberty. It is great to see you. Welcome. So, this game is called The Legend of Pirates Online. It is a multiplayer pirate game. And it is based off of the Pirates of the Caribbean that Johnny Depp was in. And then Disney made a game out of it. When Disney made a game out of it for a couple of years, about 5 years, they eventually discontinued it in 2015 or 14. And then that was, and they had a fan-made version of it. So this one is the fan-made version. But it's nearly identical to the original. It's kind of like, it's similar to a game called Sea of Thieves. And yeah, so those are quite obvious. Some verdicts are more obvious than others, and I think it's good to have debates and discussions about the verdict is guilty or innocent or not. But there's a point where people are going to, when people take it too far and take it too personal, that is when there is a problem. Shout out to Mary Toodles. Oh. And then we're also in a death match with this bounty hunter ship. Liberty, I hope that you're having a good day, Liberty, and the weather, I think you had some bad weather, and hopefully it passed over perfectly fine and caused too much problems. Alrighty. Alright, Liberty, thank you. Understood. Okay, now what I'm going to be doing is docking at the shore. Okay. Now what we're going to do is repair the ship. We've gotten the gold and everything. And now we'll be setting off and repairing this one that has been damaged. Hey, they have to bring this one back up. This way. Right there. Alright, so this part of the game, when these repairs are being done, they are, it's kind of traditionally in ships they did stuff like this, but and it's happening like in this virtual game also. I think it's a fun game to play, and also it repairs the ship at the same time. Okay. Let's see. Okay, got that done. Now it does this every so often until you completely get it. All right, now cutting through the wood. The trial about the first state murder trial, I may have said this before, but I think the outfits that people wear are very interesting. One of them was wearing like a pink suit. It was kind of funny. And yes, I won. Yes. Yeah, so it's nice what the game gives you when you're repairing the ship. It says you win. Yeah. It's kind of a situation where you win either way, but it can cause you to have some, like, it kind of, if you go a little bit slower, you still win, but sometimes it tells you to be a little bit faster, and I win anyway. There you go. It's a win-win situation. Yeah. So I said the outfits in that trial is very interesting that the people wear. I think the judge is good in that one. The prosecutor, the lawyer, everybody's good in that one. But the people that are in the chat, the chat's united on it. But then I like it when the chat's more united. But I don't. People don't always have to agree on the same thing. So I think it's important for people to have debates about if someone's guilty or innocent, like, or not. But people, I think in the Karen Reed one, they get too much in their emotions. Like, when people let the emotions take advantage of them, it leads to a lot of trouble. And besides so that is my position on the trials that we're reviewing today. And regarding the shapeshifters, I know there's a lot of stuff in mythology about it, and things could be fictional. Now, I do believe in supernatural entities, and I do think that that kind of stuff has occurred. Like, for instance, there is this. I don't remember what position a person had, if it was a prince, somebody, or a general. They're watching the battle between England and Spain through a crystal ball. What I think that was is some sort of advanced technology like the internet. Kind of like how we're able to talk through virtual calls and see things on live streams. It seems like the same type of concept. So I think like what they thought was magic was some sort of advanced technology. Like I think 100 years ago they would have thought what we're doing right now is magic. And the future goes on, there will be things that we'll be woed by. So I think it's possible. This is not scientifically proven or anything, but that there was shape shifting going on. That there is some sort of spiritual, supernatural thing where people can do that, regardless of what people believe, whatever their faith is. I think that there is some kind of ability for things to do that, but they either through some sort of craft or through an ability that they have, like an alien would, things like that. So now I do believe in the mental illnesses, and I do believe that schizophrenia is a serious thing. At the same time, I do believe there's a spiritual realm that maybe people can see differently, perhaps with those conditions than other people, but it's still like not really there what they think is there. It's really just a person that is in a tent, and it wasn't this monster that the person was thinking they were seeing, the Carlos trial. Now, there with neuroscience, the brain kind of distinguishes between, like, say you're going to be on a ledge, and your brain can kind of see the difference, especially if it's dark. Sometimes when it's too dark, the brain cannot tell, but the brain is able to see a difference in light hues, and it processes it in the brain. So it seems like in that situation, the brain is processing something incorrectly, a combination of other factors, like when you're seeing someone shapeshift and stuff like that. That's why people that have those disorders should be given the proper treatment. I think that is very important, because if people are not getting proper treatment, they're going to have a lot of problems that come out of it. So I do think that there is this supernatural realm. Yes, and I do think that it's connected to some sort of technology that we don't completely... We understand it, but also from people back then, they may have not have completely understood it, what it was. They thought it was some kind of magic. Now, this technology was discovered, or it was from a lost civilization, or given to us by aliens, or something like that. But something was there. Like with silicon is essential for computers, and that's dust from the desert. So I think it's also possible that they did these other things too. All right. Well, now what we're going to do is get the grappling hooks, and we're going to officially sink the ship. There is going to be a treasure crew, a crew of treasure. There's like a treasure ship that's going to be coming out. Ah, there it is. The treasure fleet, right there. Scared. All right, so this is the Timu treasure fleet. They're trying to take down. Now there's a whole horde of them, so be careful. And they're strong. All right, so now all the other pirates are coming out to get this. It's a Navy elite ship. It also has kind of like a different flag on it. Oh, nice. Some of them are sinking now. I'm scared. Yeah, now they're all coming out now. Facts. The HMS Invincible, kind of like it reminds you of Titanic. Now it's getting attacked by a bunch of ships. Oh lord. Look at all these pirates coming out to the sink these ships. Hilarious. We took her down. We took her down. Facts. Now we have tons of treasure now. And there's the moon. There's the moon. Very cool. In a little bit, we're going to be talking. I'm going to go into different articles and things about the shapeshifters and the kind of review of some of the trial stuff. All right. I was telling one of my friends in the game that I have been showing this game on the stream, and because he knows that I have been, and he said I'm doing a great service to, because people are learning more about the game. It's so cool. Games gain more exposure. This is a whole war zone right here. They're going that way and attacking that ship. Yeah, this is all getting hectic. Definitely. All right. So, there's also a feature in the game where the different pirates can fight each other. Zero and we've done that before in the game, and it could look like a giant war zone, pretty much. All right, I was a little day late and a dollar short with that one. in my garden, I have some turnips coming up. They're coming up pretty well. I've not focused on the garden too much because of the YouTube stuff, but yeah, it's been coming up quite well. We're waiting in patience. With patience, I should say. Hello, Rita. Well, thank you for dropping by for a moment. She says, just want to stop by for a minute and give you a thumbs up. Wish I could stay, but getting ready to watch a movie. No Karen Reed trial tomorrow. Have a great night. See you on Friday. See you on Friday. All right. And thank you for hitting the thumbs up, and y'all enjoy your movie. You know. All right. All right. We're completely annihilating these enemies over here. Right there. Watch that. Okay, so Vengeance. That one's going to sink any moment. My ship's still in good health, but there's a lot of damage to it. Oh, Lord. I made it. The Navy put a bounty on us. Now they're going to come after us all. Ships, there could be confusion. We have to be careful. Now, we got a whole fleet of pirates right here. That's crazy. I'm scared. Yeah, my ship's burning on fire right now. Wow. Oh, good grief. There's a whole bunch of them coming towards us. Oh, wow. Be careful here. And that is possible because... Alright, good. See, we have this whole fleet of pirates here. They're not going to do it as much. Now, I do need to go dock to save the loot. Now, charge forward. Get the whole thing repaired, and then we'll be back with that. Ship is not as fast. Oh, look at these pirates. They came with me to make sure I was okay. Oh, hello, Frog, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you've been having a good day and a good evening. And I can't even go to Cuba. I have to go to Cuba. Well, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to go. I was banned from this island, so I have to go to Cuba. Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's go. This is going to be epic. I can maneuver it. Yeah, and Frog, I was talking about some of the trials that I was watching today. And shape-shifting, because it was brought up in the Carlos trial. I'm going to get into some other stuff like that, because I play the game kind of first, and then I go into the other stuff. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good to know, Frog. That's good to know. So, have you been keeping up with murder, the first state murder trial? I think that that defendant is very guilty, and it is very obvious that they did not have a connection. And the victim seemed very not a big fan of the perpetrator. Not a big fan because they just seem like they're in two different boxes, pretty much. Then, interesting to see the camera footage and the other stuff that's coming out about it. Like they're talking about the cellular towers and stuff today. I always think that's interesting. So yeah, so I think that also the person has soulless eyes. I think it is person is quite guilty. All right. So now we're gonna speed to the island. Okay, now docking. Also, Karen Reed is a big mess. I didn't see that one earlier. It's going to be coming on another day on Friday. I think that Karen Reed the trial is a very big mess. Other trials watching was the Carlos trial. That's the one with the shapeshifting. Where's everyone at? Frog, I am not sure. They were gonna come. I don't know if there speak of the Moki. You got one of them right there. Hello, Moki. Yeah, as I said, just people. I kind of usually been going live around 8:30, 8, and I went live a little bit earlier because I was thinking like that's what I usually did, but I don't know, people could, yeah, as I said, people doing their own thing, I guess. I don't know with the notifications. I know that people get them, but I kind of was going live at the same time. Now it's kind of a little bit, I kind of went off schedule a little bit, but that's me overthinking everything. Alright, so I'm going to put this away. Trash it. We're going to put this white hat here. Cool. Okay. Moki, I hope that you're having a good evening. I'm glad that you can join us. Yeah, it's a little late for the East Coast. Yeah. But I usually I went live around 7 something. Around 7:49, something like that. But yeah, usually there's other people here. But like Rita went to go see a movie. They're watching a movie. People get up. Do their own things. As people might be doing other stuff. I mean, anyway. So let's see. I'm trying to. Yeah, I was going to the wrong area. They're gonna like close the gap for me, so I just might as well just take everything. Okay. Let's see what kind of staff I have. Spirit staff. Let's put this one away. And bring this one back. Hilarious. Loki says my husband took the day off tomorrow so he can stay up late and watch Stanley Cup and get up early to watch the French Open. Yeah, so also, I usually have been going live around 8 something. This time went live a little bit earlier, and it was not a scheduled stream either. It was just to kind of like went live and went live. So that is me overthinking things. And I will say, for me going live every single day, and there's hello Remy, great to see you. So as I said, there are probably some lurkers around. There might be some lurkers around, but okay. So that is me overthinking things because I am very good at overthinking. That is something I'm very talented at. I'll go deeply in overthinking about stuff. Oh, Moki, thank you. 2 more orbs were seen where the Buga was, or wherever it's called. You want pizza, Moki? I'll give you a Timu pizza right now. All right. Yeah, Remy, hope everything's going well with you. Some spaceship pizza. So we got on this voyage was copper bars, silver bars, cotton, emeralds, ivory, diamonds, and you got a bunch of silks and things for the other collections. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so that was a pretty cool one. All right, so we're gonna go here. Glad that you enjoy it, Moki. All right, so yeah, I think that I thought it was interesting seeing the different stuff with. Okay, I keep ranting about this. The cellular towers, how they're able to pick up the different signals and they use that for criminal analysis is very good because with the technology, people think they can hide stuff, but they can't really hide stuff like as well as they think they can. You got to do people have to do certain things to hide things more efficiently, but it is really essential to have that because if somebody's doing something wrong, they need to go catch them. And I thought it was makes the person look more guilty today because I think that Anderson is guilty, in my opinion. I thought it was it reminded me of the YSL trial when they're showing the cellular towers because that's what they're trying to do over there at that trial, and it just shows you like kind of the area where it is and how it pings to one tower to another, and it's similar to a computer, not a computer but a radio. Moki says I found a non FKR channel that talks about the case after. Oh, that's good, Moki. Okay, thanks for letting us know. My little black cart got a little down today. Oh, Frog, what happened, buddy? Let us, if you want to share it with us, we're eager to know. All right. Okay. Oh no, Frog. My sincerest condolences for your loss. You know about that. It's very sad when a loved one is lost, especially a mother. No condolences for you and your family. Well, what I gotta do is repair the ship. That's what I gotta do. Not go sail. You gotta repair it. Prayers for you and your family in this great time of sorrow. It's a very big, what that means is a very big sorrow that happened. All right. Yeah, group hug, definitely. Right here, group hugs for the spaceship. All right, now repairing it. I did not see the. Amen, Frog. She isn't suffering anymore. Amen. Oh yeah, Moki. My grandparents are in their 80s, and but we're right next door to them, and we take care of them. But yeah, I can understand being concerned about them. I could relate to how you feel. So yeah, well, I'm glad that you told us what happened. Because we're here for you, buddy. Definitely. All right, repairing all this. And I like to see the chat unified with the case rather than being divided about it. And allegedly, the Lori Daybell, her new trial starts tomorrow, so that'll be an interesting clown show to see. Yeah, and Frog, she says, Frog, I don't know if you are a believer, but I believe she is right by you and will be with her again. Moki, I also believe that too. For him. Yes. Oh, today it was good? Okay, that's good. That's good news to hear. I missed it. I'll go back and look at it, but I saw the other ones. 'Cause I forgot it was going to be a short day. I was like, I could have seen it. Like, I was up. Like, I could have seen it, but I forgot it was a short day, though. As usually it's a clown show, yeah. Oh, that's great, Frog. Yeah, she is, in heaven and a better place, and you'll see her again one day. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the bottom of the earth has frozen over because it was a good day in the Karen Reed trial. Oh, thank you very much, Frog. I appreciate that. Poor old Lucky, the snowplow driver, all the Turtle Boy bullying came out. Oh, okay. Okay. Because it's like there's like two different things going on. There's the chat and the trial itself. Like, I think the chat is its separate podcast. It's like a separate thing that goes on, a separate show. So it's like, if the chat had a good day, it's hard for me to believe. Now, I believe the trial was a good day, probably. If they were both were having a good day, I mean, the world's gonna be coming to an end. Because as always, to me, is a clown show. Always a clown show. Remy, I agree. That those people are going too far with it. People can think, in my opinion, people could think someone's innocent, but these people are idolizing her, and in a certain way, it's a little bit weird. It's a really weird. Yeah, it's getting kind of old. It's kind of like it's a Timu joke. Exactly, exactly, Remy. Both of them. It's they're treating her like she's a divine being. They're, and you know what I think? People want to distract themselves from their lives. It's good for people to find a distraction if they're going through stuff, but I think people are distracting themselves with that and making a big deal out of nothing. Like, for instance, like making mountains out of molehills. I think people are completely going overboard with that. Both sides. They're all effing weird and boring. Yeah, that is true, Remy. Absolutely. People have lost their minds. Yes. Yes. It's like She doesn't even know them. You know, for instance, G and I were having a conversation and about this type of situation where people will idolize someone like Reed or anybody that doesn't even know they exist. It wouldn't care if they passed away or whatever. Like, they don't even know them, and they're making a big deal out of nothing. Yes, I agree with you, Remy. Both sides are equally as bad because they're both going overboard with it. Like, they're making this out of a war. It's like the Timu Wars. It's like they're treating it like it's a toilet paper rush. Like, all the toilet paper is going to go missing or something. They're like people that panic by toilet paper. People getting that offended over a trial that people don't even know. It's not even surrounded by a bigger cause. Oh, look who it is. It is Erin, and she was gonna probably enjoy this conversation very much. Scared. I feel bad for Alexa Rose. She's taking it really personally. I told her she's not guilty person, not an FKR. Exactly. Oh, Alexa Rose. Shout out to Alexa Rose, and she is subscribed to the channel, and she pops in. It's been a while, but she has popped into the stream before, and I see what you're saying there, Aaron. I see that. Yeah, it's about 8:30 to 8:40. Y'all come in, or at least y'all are like lurking. Then y'all come in around that time. Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, TP riots. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Alexa Rose has a relative that might live in an area close to that region, and she's concerned that her daughter lives in an area where the police are corrupted, and she believes Karen Reed was innocent and that the police force framed her and they're corrupted, but both could be true. But yeah, she is not one of the fanatics. She just believes not guilty, and she's fine. Yeah. As I said, it was not Alexa Rose. Like last year when her and I talked about it, and at the time I thought Karen Reed was likely innocent at that time period back then. That's what I leaned towards back then, and it was seemed more civilized and logical. But these people are now, both sides are taking it a bit too far. We're getting a little bit weird. Like, well, what are we doing? It's like, what's going on? And Bro says, yeah, chill. I most just watched the Karen Reed fight. Right, and Aaron said, every time I say Timu, I get a bunch of Timu ads. Scared. I'm like a human version of Facebook. I'm like an algorithm. I'm like a human algorithm that just like, when I say Timu, I bring Timu ads. I think I've made Timu millions of dollars probably because I spread Timu all over YouTube. I will say, I'm not trying to toot my horn here, and y'all like the different code letters that we use, like GTSY or FTSY or IMO. I didn't. FTSY is something I came up with, but the other ones people have come up with, but I made them popular because I used them all the time, and it was a good way to solve the problem. And yeah, and y'all liked the thing I came up with Timu, and I have to say I'm probably the one that came up with that because my grandpa likes to buy stuff from Timu, and I thought that would be a good roast during the YSL trial. And yeah, I feel honored that y'all appreciate that, and also it boosted Timu's ad because the Google has an algorithm and their ads detect like what's being talked about. So I manipulated the algorithm. So yeah, it blame me, the alien man, for the Timu ads. And then Moki says, that's what I'm saying. Alexa just thinks not guilty. She's not a nutter, and she's not mean. Exactly. And I used to be a not guilty. I used to be not guilty. Oh, look, it's Fala. A good night to you, Fala. Thank you for hitting like button and saying hi to us. I really appreciate it very much. And shout out to Trial TV live, if I said that right. I think I said it right. Okay, Remy. Okay. Yeah, but as I said, a shout out to Alexa Rose, and I wasn't saying anything bad about her, but yeah, okay. I guess that's true. Remy, understood. I'll say this. I'll say this. Anybody that thinks that Karen Reed is not guilty is fine, you know. But the other people that are crazy about it, which is not really people from our group, those people are kind of odd in my opinion. But not, as I said, anybody from our group. So, what are the chances Lori's trial actually starts tomorrow? Aaron, I've been hearing for a long time it was going to start tomorrow. It's like the sky's going to fall tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. Yeah, I don't really know because. Okay, Remy. Oh, my ship sunk. That's nice. I didn't even know it sunk. Okay, Remy. I get what you mean. I get it. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to the purple. Oh yeah, you're laughing hard at that. Yeah, yeah. So today, Lori, Kathy Rusin was saying about how the table, not the table, but she doesn't that Lori doesn't talk directly in the microphone, so the judge has to have her repeat herself. Yeah, shout out to these emojis, these cool emojis. Yeah. Yeah, so I think with the first state murder trial, you know, they had the young looking dude. He was showing the charts. It was funny what Remy said about it. You know, that was quite funny. And why is she in a wheelchair? If you're talking about Lori Vallow, if that's who you're talking about, allegedly Lori Vallow is sick with something. I don't know, but I don't know the reason. I don't know the reason. I'm just making an educated guess. Apparently, judge said, "I want it on the record the defendant is well enough to talk to jurors because she won't respond to me." Uh-huh. Lori's really spiraling. Yep. Yo ho. Yeah, hilarious. I've been watching Colby streams too. He's turned out really well given the circumstances. Oh, well, shout out to Colby. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, Moki, I believe that there's bots there. Sometimes I think troll accounts are bots. Sometimes, or there are people behind it that are acting like bots. All right. Okay. I'll repair the ship. All right, we're gonna sink some more ships, and then we'll get into the other thing. All right, yeah, understood, Remy. Remy says, well, he hasn't turned out that well. He's on YouTube talking about his mother and his deleted siblings for money. Yeah, I don't know enough about it to comment on it, but there are people that do stuff like that, Remy. And that may be going on. Aaron said, he talked today about having survivor's guilt. He's literally the only one left. Survivor's guilt is a thing. That is true. People, a symptom of PTSD. And I don't know what's going on in someone's head, so I can't, accurately say what someone feels this or that. But. And Aaron says, Remy, he should get something out of the disaster, lol. If I could make money off stories of my mom, I would. Oh. Yeah. Remy says, not here long, just had to say hello to my boo alien, and you too. Well, thank you, Remy Boo. We appreciate you telling us hello. It's probably very late where you are. I appreciate the perseverance to go through that to tell us that. And Remy says, his deleted underage siblings aren't meal tickets. Yeah, that's another way to look at it too. Interesting points. It's like a part of me wants to say I'm supposed to know who the Colby is. Another part of me says it's probably one of Lori Vallow's kids or something. And Remy said the person is not normal. Okay, I wouldn't think that he'd be normal, but after a group like that, yeah. But I don't know him personally. I'm not really. I don't know if I want to know him personally either. But it is what it is. We live on planet Earth. Anytime aliens come into this planet, they crash into something. Because the atmosphere and stuff here causes a problem. I'm scared. Right, right, and nobody would be normal after that. Why does Straw Business get a trial for what? Attacking her lawyer? I don't. You know, I don't know, Aaron. Sorry, what the get a sorry? Why does get a trial for what? Attacking her lawyer? Yeah, I don't. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I'll go look it up. Let's see. Did I get any plunder? Because that'll be the. Okay, we're gonna go and dock, and I will look this up. Let's see. Okay, I know about that trial. Rome Hedril and we talked about it. Well, we didn't talk about it, we were in it together. Like we were in the chat together. So I didn't know she's getting another trial. I'm looking it up now. All right. Okay, the game it had its day. And now it's going to be another thing right here. All right. I'm just going to look it up on this one since it's open. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I see this. Let's see what this is about. Green Bay convicted deleter to stand trial for alleged attacking a prison employee. Aaron says, Remy Fair, I think at first it was to set the record straight. Now it's just working for him. When my crazy sister in law makes the news, I want you to watch my stream. So, the woman serving life sentence for deleting and dismembering her lover in Green Bay in 2022 will stand trial for allegedly attacking a prison employee at the Tay Cheetah Correctional Institution. Taylor Schwab, business 27, appeared in Fond du Lac County Court on Tuesday morning, where the court set trial dates of October 27 to 28 to 29, according to court records. A criminal complaint alleges that in July of 2024, Schwab Business requested medical attention for a staple in her arm while a nurse went to get tweezers to help her. Schwab Business allegedly lugged at the nurse. A prison guard interviewed, allowing the nurse to escape, but Schwab Business then attacked the guard, hitting her in the head with a tray and swinging a metal table at her. And Remy says, "Don't get me wrong. I've watched Colby, and I hope he heals. He seems like a nice guy." Yeah, I hope he does too. Schwab Business also has a new attorney in the prison attack case after her first lawyer, Curtis Julka, withdrew from the case in April after Schwab Business screamed and lunged at him in court. Her current attorney, Christopher Froelich, represented Schwab Business during the Green Bay murder and dismemberment case after Schwab Business attacked her original attorney in February 2022. All right, so that's the information about this, about that trial. Taylor trial. All right, so that's what's going on with that one. Yeah. Yep. We're going to look at another one right here. All right, I'm going to look at another one right here. Let's We're going to get into more detail about this. I want to see Donna Adelson. Convicted deleter Taylor Schwabbusiness blew a kiss to the camera as she was wheeled into the courtroom while shackled Tuesday for a hearing in the battery case. Schwabbusiness is serving a life sentence at Tay Chechta Correctional Institution after she was convicted of murdering Shad Thyrion during a drug-fueled sexual encounter. While in custody, prosecutors say she attacked a prison guard in July 2024. Frog said when she came into court a couple of days ago, she strapped in a chair with wheels and chained. She also blew kisses to the camera. She sounds like a character, definitely. Schwabbusiness is serving a life sentence at Taichidi Correctional Institution. She was convicted of murdering Shad Thyrion. I read that. Okay. A criminal complaint reviewed by Court TV alleges that Schwabbusiness requested medical attention for a staple in her arm while a nurse went to get tweezers to help her. Schwabbusiness allegedly lunged. Emoki says Schwabbusiness attacked a prison guard. Okay, thank you. Schwabbusiness requested medical attention for a staple in her arm while a nurse went to get the tweezers to help her. Schwabbusiness allegedly lunged at the nurse, and the prison guard intervened, allowing the nurse to escape, but Schwabbusiness then allegedly attacked the guard, hitting her in the head with a tray and swinging a metal table at her. Ouch. What a savage. In April, Schwabbusiness was tackled in court during her preliminary hearing after she lunged at her attorney, Curtis Jolka. Guards immediately tackled her to the ground and removed her from the courtroom. She's scared. She's like a wild savage, like one of those jungle animals. The hearing resumed short while later Schwabbusiness participating via Zoom. Judge Attorney Nahils said found she waived her right to be present due to her behavior. Joka asked the judge to withdraw from the case, citing the attack. Judge Nahils said she could withdraw the following the hearing, which then proceeded. Yeah, I don't really think Schwabbusiness is her name. Like, it's kind of like my last name, Schmidt, but it kind of sounds like something else. Like, I don't know if it's real her name or not, but it's kind of like Schwabbusiness. All right. I wonder what her diagnosis is, because she's nuts, not like Carlos. Right. And Remy says she, huge lady too, imagine her lurching towards you in full speed. Oh yeah, Remy. Scared. And there was about 6 big dudes all around Schwabbusiness. Schwabbusiness isn't her real name. Yeah, I didn't think it was her name. OF's as it's a stage name. Yeah, Schwabbusiness sounds like a stage name. As I said, Schmidt, my last name, has the SCH in it. But this business, like SCH is a Germanic thing. It's like a Germanic prefix. But business is an English word, so I kind of had suspicions about that name. My last name means a blacksmith. That's what they were. That's what the name means. But anyway, so defense attorney Christopher for Elish appeared in court Tuesday alongside Shapeshifters, where a trial date was set for her battery case. Froelich also represented the defendant during her murder trial. Defense and prosecution requested a 3-day jury trial. Judge Nehils set a start date of October 27. A hearing was also scheduled for October 8 to address whether she'll be restrained at trial. Oh, hello, Brandy. Great to see you. Well, welcome to the chat. And what I do with the friends that I know from the different live streams, I give them a wrench as a thank you for being here. And I knew you and would trust you with the channel. All right. So there you go. Okay. And so that is what happened with that trial. There you go. So, Brandy, you have a wrench now because it's part of my. All of these people you know are in this chat. These people in this chat are people that I know from different parts of YouTube. Yes. Different live streams on YouTube in one place. So, yeah, as a thank you, and I trust you because I know you. There you are. All right. And shout out to Brandy. And shout out to Smoke and Scan. That is where I know her from. Very, very awesome channel. All right, so we're talking about some trials because this group of people I know from the Law and Crime trial chat. I'm there pretty much all day. Usually in the afternoon, but I go there. And also, we're talking about this Taylor Shapeshifters who is having a murder trial. She was found guilty, and then she attacked prison staff and her attorney. Now she's on trial for something else. Well, that's hilarious. And you already never had a wrench before. Well, there you go. I was glad to give you your first wrench. You always were cool people when I chatted with you over there. And there's just a lot of haters out there that are being cringe, but I'm all kinds of things. I'm a Temu wrench. That's what I am. I'm a Temu wrench. And reading just an overview about Shapeshifters, before we get into the next stuff, is Taylor Shapeshifters is currently serving a life sentence without the parole for the murder and dismemberment of Shad Thyrion. In 2022, she was convicted July 26, 2023. And sentenced on September 26, 2023. Recent developments. Shapeshifters is facing a new trial for battery by a prisoner. This charge stems from the incident and face a new trial for the battery. Okay, so Shapeshifters is facing a new trial for battery by a prisoner. This charge stems from an incident in July where she allegedly attacked Sergeant Tay Shida Correctional Institution. Moki doesn't know how to delete a comment. Yeah. Now, basically, all right, so what you all would do, so like say there's a situation where usually this happens on phone lives, but say there's an incident where a bunch of trolls come in and try to flirt with me, but I'm not interested. So you would like press the, since y'all are mods, y'all can't do it to each other, but we would see like a name and you'd press it and it gives you an options. You could time out a person, you could delete a comment from a channel. So it will give you options. So you just press or click the name and it'll give you a list of options to time the person out or block them from the channel, things like that. And I've been usually doing it myself, but it's also nice to have y'all here too. All right. And you see, it's like the people that have wrenches, I know them from different live streams, so they're like my friends. They are my friends. It's different than other, say, like another streams where people don't really know the audience like closely. But I just was a different situation, not comparing myself to anybody. My channel is still growing. It's still growing. And I just met people in different live streams and brought them to one place. No. What if they are hot? Well, Brandy, in that situation, I think it might be time for a barbecue then. And enjoy the hot chat. There could be exceptions, Brandy. There might be exceptions. And we don't get lots of trolls here. That is true, Moki. Especially on the phone. On this type of live stream, I've not seen a troll in a long time. The phone lives get trolls sometimes. But not this setup, no. It's a kind of a niche, specific topic. Yeah, we will. Yeah, thank you, Brandy. Thank you. Yeah, Moki, they will. They can have an exception to stay. Yeah, absolutely. A 3 day, and usually the trolls are a bunch of basement dwellers that y'all wouldn't be interested in anyway. A bunch of saggy, uh, impaloopa looking trolls that are just look like ogres. You know, the cool, attractive people come to chat and they just hang out and chill. But yeah, but there are exceptions. There could be exceptions. But yeah, usually they're basement dwellers and they're like little goblins going ha 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 ha. Moki says Monica's sentencing is going to be great. I hope Luigi gives an impact statement. Oh yeah, that'll be interesting to see. And I've not been keeping up much. I've not heard much about Luigi Mangione. I've not heard much about him. We have to go see what's going on with that. Court appearance and incidents. In April 2025, Shrub Business was involved in an incident where she attacked her attorney during a preliminary hearing in the battery case. She lunged at her attorney, Curtis Joka, and was tackled by guards. The hearing continued with practicing via Zoom. Luigi's very well spoken. I hope her daughter don't, though. Yeah. He is very well spoken, and he's also very well educated. And I don't agree with the methods he used. And I understand there's a problem maybe going on with the healthcare stuff, but as I said, I don't know if that was the best way to do it, though. You know, but he is well spoken, and it'll be interesting to see how he conducts himself with it. Shrub Business previous attorney Curtis Joka requested to withdraw from the case, citing the attack. Judge Anthony Nahils allowed him to withdraw the following hearing. A new defense attorney, Christopher Forlich, who also represented her in the murder trial, appeared with her in court on June 3, 2025. Yeah, I'm talking about Luigi Mangione, personally. That's what I'm talking about. Because I thought that's what y'all were talking about with my Temu brain that I have. But I'm referring to Luigi Mangione, and I stand by that. And also, I am not familiar with Luigi Fabio's son. I don't know anything about him. So I have nothing to say about Fabio's son. So you know, I have nothing to say about him because I don't know about him. But if from what y'all tell me, that's fine. Not murderous Luigi or Mario's brother Luigi. Okay. Because I'm about to go on a rant about the Luigi from the video game. Because, you know, Luigi from the Mario game, he was very good at jumping. And he jumps like, he moves his legs around. Yeah, Nomad needs to pop in. Yeah, that'd be funny. And when Luigi jumps, it's easier to glide him to a certain location that's difficult, but Mario just goes hops like a frog. And the other one just, with his legs, he starts moving his legs all over the place. So I do think with the situation with Luigi, he's a good character, but he's kind of freaked out. A new defense attorney, Christopher Forlich, who also represented her in the murder trial, appeared with her in court on June 3, 2025, where the October trial date was set. In the latest hearing on June 3, 2025, Schwab Business was reportedly wheeled into the courtroom in shackles, and the judge warned her against outbursts. A hearing is scheduled for October 8, 2025, to address whether she will be restrained during the trial. All right. Let's see. Let's look up Fabio Cementelli's. I think that's what y'all were talking about, Fabio Cementelli's son. Moki, I'll probably watch it on both. Yeah, I would think that it would be good to see Fabio Cementelli, his son, Luigi Cementelli. I think it would be good for him to say some statements about what happened. An impact statement. I think he should. Yeah, so Luigi Cementelli, he should. I agree with you all that he should make an impact statement. No, yeah, Aaron. Shout out to you for that. Yeah. All right. Scared. All right, so let's see this other one. Hmm. The other, I'm curious about Luigi Mangione. What's going on with him? Since a Luigi was mentioned. All right, so let's see what's going on with this fella. Okay. Let's play tag tomorrow, Moki. All right, prosecutors detail how Luigi Mangione allegedly survived the CEO checks every box. Oh, hello, Shell. It is great to see you. Welcome. We're talking about trials that myself and the friends watch, and We are just making commentary about it, and also going to talk about some shape shifting because it has to do with. So this other trial that we're watching, it's a schizophrenic patient. It's not a patient, but it's a schizophrenic defendant, and he was seeing shape shifting lizard creatures and stuff and demonic things. So also I'm talking about shapeshifters. All right. Yeah, shout out to Shell, cool people. All right. Luigi Mangione surveilled United Healthcare chief executive Brian Thompson the night before he allegedly shot him on Midtown Street and initially considered a different target. Prosecutors in Manhattan said Wednesday in the new court filing. Just before 8 p.m. on December 3, 2024, prosecutors said Mangione was spotted walking near the Hilton Hotel. He appeared to be talking into a cell phone. As he walked down the street, Mr. Thompson walked past him in the opposite direction, the filing said. Yeah, Shell is here, from Smoke and Scan. Yeah, shout out to Smoke and Scan. He's a very great streamer, very good channel. Just before 8 p.m. on December 3, I read that. Okay. A prosecutors As prosecutors has poured over the red notebook, they said Mangione used a diary. They say found ambiguous evidence of Mangione's motive against United Healthcare CEO. Shell, I have the same situation. I don't hunt, but when I'm in the woods, like I tell you when I'm in the like when I'm watching Smoke and Skin and I'm walking around. When I'm in the woods part, I do the same thing. I see cats that aren't there. I see dogs that aren't there. I see people and creatures that aren't there. The mind plays tricks on me too. And SC Wolverines, shout to him. He's a good channel. He was telling me that when he's camping, his mind will play tricks on you, and he kind of has a radio on that he likes to listen to while he's there. But yeah, so as I was seeing stuff and thinking things were there, so it's a normal thing I figured out about that. So basically, when it was snowing here, I heard it was so quiet, and y'all that are in regions that it snows regularly are more used to snow than I am. But basically, it was quiet, and I heard there's no wind, and I heard the chimes. I'm like, okay, you know what? There's not supposed to be anyone in this yard but me, so what's going on here? Erin said when she shops, she sees money she doesn't have. So, basically, I saw what was going on. It was just, there was wind in one area, but not the area that I was in. So the wind was being selective. And I was seeing stuff in the snow that wasn't there. And that's what he was telling me, the mind will play tricks on you when you think something's there that isn't. And the snow was when I was in the snow, it's like all you see is white. And it was quite a fascinating experience. And it was the same type of experience that you're describing about seeing a bear that isn't there. It was kind of like that. And when I was watching the replay of my stream when I was in the snow, when it snowed down here, I was seeing faces in the snow that weren't there. And I'm like half asleep. And I probably also saw it while I was streaming. But it's so interesting. The mind is so complex. I took some stuff on the neuroscience, which has to do with the mind, how the brain functions, and it's so fascinating. So how it'll see different shapes, and sometimes I think my theory is that it'll cross different things and think something is that it isn't there. The Goonies is one of the movies I can watch all the time. Oh, The Goonies. In 7th and 8th grade, it was one classroom. It was a smaller group, because it was geared better for me. But there's another, so it was a big school, but there was a little group that I was in because it was better for me. So my group of people that I was in 7th and 8th grade, we watched The Goonies. I like that movie. So that's very cool. And I think that basically when you're out in these different environments, your mind will play tricks on you. And Shell, something else I'll say is that I like how the I like the camouflage that hunters wear. Like I like mossy oaks. I love wearing that stuff. When I was in Mississippi growing up, when we were evacuated from the hurricane, and I was in Mississippi for a period of time, Walmart was very cool up there, and they had a bunch of uh, mossy oaks things. So that's I like doing wearing that type of clothing. So it's the camouflage is very fascinating. Because it fits in perfectly with like when you're in a tree or something or in the bushes. And I know I met hunters before, Shell, and they how very quiet, being very still for a period of time, and just blending in with the nature that's around you. So, yeah, very interesting. And Moki says, I was checking X for shape-shifting aliens and saw that tidbit. It's the 40-year anniversary of the Goonies. Oh, it is the 40-year anniversary. Oh, that is so cool. Now, I'm gonna be a Timu alien for a second and say that I was not there to see the Goonies in person. I was not born yet. Here I go again. But I still saw it later, though, many years ago. But that doesn't really count. But I still think that it's better than most movies that come out today or television or anything. That movie was very good. A very great time period, I must add. Okay. Now, I will say that this time period with the technology, I cannot part with because I love the technology we have now and how we can connect people together differently. But culturally, the time was so much different and better back then. And I will say that was an amazing movie. And I wish I could have seen that in person when it came out. I wish I could have seen it. And y'all got to do something I wasn't able to see. So that's really cool that for y'all that were able to see it in theaters. Or see it when it was more new. Yeah, I am such a BB. Yeah. And also about this other thing I was talking about. The entry dated 1985. I was 13. Oh, you were 13. Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. To grow up in the 80s. Stranger Things had. My ex loved that. My past girlfriend that I had, she loved that show, Stranger Things. And. Okay, Remy, good night to you. Thank you for coming by. Stopping by. Good night to you. See you tomorrow. All right, so. Basically, with Stranger Things, they had a. Am I thinking the right one? I think it is Stranger Things. Yes, based kind of like from the '80s. That was a cool show. Yeah, she did like that one. She does like it hypothetically to this day. Yeah, she liked that one, and also American Horror Story. I think they had a theme of the '80s. As I said, that's pretty cool. In a cool time period. And Shell said, I'm 53, would love to go on an adventure like the Goonies. Oh, yeah, yeah. With like my game that I play with the pirate ships is very kind of similar to the Goonies because there's a pirates in it. And a pirate ship in it. Yeah, so, yeah, adventure is so cool. That's the thing about what makes those things are very interesting is the adventure and the danger. One day, they'll say about us streamers was an adventure that we all went on. And maybe they'll make movies about us streamers at some point. Each generation was romanticized by the past generation, like the cowboys and stuff like that. So, yeah, adventure is always very fun. And the thing is also, it's not about finding the treasure. Finding the treasure is not the treasure. The treasure is the journey. The adventure part is the true treasure. I remember I saw a quote, and I'll say this again and again, that the pirates were so obsessed with finding treasure, but the true treasure was the time they had together finding it. Because, life is very short. So, as much adventures as could possibly happen is the best thing it could, be. That's good. I love Myra Shiz. Hilarious, Remy. And shout out to y'all from the 80s. It's pretty cool. The entry dated August 15, 2024 reads in pertinent part that follows. I finally feel confident about what I do, the details coming together, and I don't feel any doubt about whether it's right, justified. I'm in a way that I've procrastinated because it allows me to learn more about UHC, the filing said. The entry allegedly suggested that Mangione first considered the target with the initials KMD, but decided it would do nothing to spread awareness to improve people's lives. Prosecutors alleged that instead of Mangione concluded the targets is insurance to checks the box. In the filing, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office attempted to provide additional justification for charging Mangione with the first-degree murder that includes a terrorism enhancement. Defense attorneys have sought to dismiss the charge. Oh, Aaron will find us at some point. All right. See you somewhere, somehow. All right. And after I read this, we're going to go into the shape-shifting stuff. It's going to be scared. There's just two more little things, and it'll be it for this part. If ever there were an open and shut case pointing to the defendants guilty, this case is that. Case simply put, would be hard pressed to find a case with such overwhelming evidence of guilt as the identity of the murder and premeditated nature of the assassination. Assistant District Attorney Joel Seidman wrote, Brian Thomason, UHC were simply symbols of the healthcare industry that what defendant considered a deadly greed-fueled cartel. Many people do think that. And the murder had a chilling effect, according to Seidman, who said the UHC employees were afraid to sign letters denying insurance coverage. Some UHC physicians quit their jobs out of fear of retribution. The company advised its employees not to wear company-branded clothing. The attempt to intimidate the industry, prosecutors said, provides sufficient support of the terror enhancement. Mangione is next due to court on June 26. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. Prosecutors opposed a defense motion to suspend the state case in favor of the federal case, which Seidman said could take years to try to, because the government's intent to seek the deletion penalty. All right, and now we're going to go to the shape-shifting. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about what the definition of shape-shifting is. Something that seems very science fiction is quite potent in mythology and some conspiracy theories. The defendant, Carlos, was saying he saw things that were shape-shifting. So, although through his schizophrenia that's what he saw, but we're going to get into what the shape-shifting is exactly. Shapeshifting is a mythical context refers to the ability to change one's physical form, often into the form of another animal or human. This concept appears in mythology, folklore, and fiction, and is sometimes linked to a supernatural magical powers. In some cases, the shapeshifting can also involve changing one's appearance or mimicking others. Elaboration: mythical and folklore. Shapeshifting is a recurring theme in various cultures, mythology, and folklore, with examples like werewolves, Theranites, Selkies, and Seal People, and characters from Norse legends. Supernatural and magical powers. In fictional contexts, the shapeshifting is often depicted as supernatural magical abilities. Shell says, I want to shapeshift into a bald eagle for a bit to fly. Oh, absolutely. That would be. That sounds very fun. That sounds very fun. I always thought the bald eagle was so fascinating, because it's America's bird. And I liked how it looked like it was like a person wearing an outfit. That bird, that'd be very cool to be that majestic eagle, definitely. Different types of shapeshifting. Complete transformation, changing into different form, like an animal or another person, often involving a complete change in the appearance and potentially physical abilities. Partial transformation, changing specific body parts or altering physical characteristics like transforming hands into weapons or skin into more durable material. Mimicking, transforming into the appearance. That was Foghorn Leghorn. Ah, okay. Thanks, Brandy. Mimicking, transforming into the appearance of another person, object, or creature without necessarily changing their internal body structure or abilities. Real world analogies. While not literal shape shifting, some animals like octopuses are known for their remarkable ability to camouflage and mimic other creatures, which can be seen as a form of shape shifting in natural context. Scientific perspectives. While certainly beyond the realm of scientific possibility, the concept of shapeshifting has been explored in science fiction, speculative fiction with discussions around the theoretical possibilities of genetic engineering or biotechnology to achieve such informations. Depiction and portrayal. Shapeshifting can be used as a tool for deception, allowing characters to infiltrate groups, manipulate others, or carry out malicious acts under a disguise. All right, so I was talking earlier that there is this when we were reviewing crystal balls. It kind of sounds kind of funny, but we were talking about like the magic crystals that they were able to see things through, like uh, the Aztecs and those ancient people. They would get these crystals and they could see what's going on somewhere else, or they could see the future, and or they could see what's going on in front of them. Kind of like how the fortune teller with the crystal ball. So there is this incident during the war between Britain and Spain. So Spain was trying to invade England, the United Kingdom, with the help of Ireland, and there is this Catholic and Protestant war going on, and it was during Elizabeth I. And one of the officials was watching it from Spain with the magic ball. And oh, hello, Matt. Good to see you, buddy. Just tuned in. Gypsies love that stuff. So he was watching the Spanish fleet get destroyed through the crystal ball that was happening, over in the British Isles. In my opinion, I think that I speculate it's possible that they're talking about a certain technology, an advanced technology that they had, but they called it magic. For instance, in our modern age, y'all are watching me through your phone or your computer or TV or something, and I'm talking to y'all through my computer and the TV screen, technically. So we're doing the same thing. Like, we're watching a live stream or watching anybody's live stream or a video in the same sort of way they did that. So if it was real, maybe they had some sort of technology from somewhere that they thought that it was magic, but there is it's kind of things we have now, but since society has advanced, we're able to know what that is now. But maybe back then they had some kind of technology they didn't know it was called back then. Like, they had alchemy that became chemistry. The shape-shifting, if it was real, hypothetically, it's some sort of... It would be a pseudoscience, and it's just some sort of explanation, if it was real, that we do not have at the moment, if, it does occur. Or these things are able to do stuff that we can't do. Like, for instance, I have my friend, he's, like, double jointed, and he could bring his thumb all the way to his hand right here. That's something I can't do. So I think that maybe certain beings or people or animals could have an ability that others may not have. Like, for instance, with the octopus shape-shifting into something else, or a chameleon disguising itself to protect itself from enemies. So I do think anything's possible. Those are just some explanations I have about it. So, going on about more depth about this. AI will make it difficult to distinguish real from fake. Scary. Scared. The other day, Shell, I was showing the art I made with AI. And it could be used for some pretty good things. Also for some pretty terrible things, too. It can be used for good or bad. And you're absolutely correct, Shell. We may not be able to know what is real, what isn't. There is this situation where you can take a person's face and put it on someone else's. And if someone has the right voice, you won't be able to tell. Like, they could make it look just like me and sound just like me, but it's someone else. You gotta be careful with this stuff. It could go in a bad direction, or it could go in a good direction. And for instance, Jordan Peele is very good at making Obama's voice, and they put Obama's face over his face with the AI, and you can't tell really that it's not Obama. Like, they used Elon Musk with someone, George W. Bush. Like, the AI could do a lot of stuff, and like Mark Zuckerberg was saying that he thought that the holograms would come before the AI, and he thought AI would be 10 years from now, but AI came way sooner than he thought. It's advancing very quickly. Sounds appealing. Yeah, so that is what I think, in my opinion, and I think the AI is very cool. But I know it could be used for something bad, and I know it's going to be used for things that aren't too good, and we have to be careful. It's like you're going to see something on TV or on the computer, and you're not going to know what is what. Yes, for instance, I think YouTube is completely advanced to the modern, and it's even futuristic. That is true, Shell. They will use it for illegal purposes. You're right. And there will be people that will be using it for good purposes, but also we cannot deny, and I don't want to sugarcoat it too much, that there will be people that will be using it for illegal things. Hello, Matt. The other Matt. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. And yeah, I think that it will be used for more and more illegal stuff. It will be. Criminals will use it for something bad. And that goes for pretty much anything. And so, what I mean by society being advanced, the YouTube being advanced, is I say you want to watch something, and the algorithm recommends something you want to see, or you subscribe to a YouTube channel and you get the notifications for it. And basically, what is done is that you, with say you watching the radio or you're watching television, they've remained stagnant. They haven't advanced to how YouTube or the internet is, where it recommends something that you want to watch. But I believe over the next decades, it probably will catch up because I think those technologies might be behind. Exactly, Moki. Don't forget to hit the like button. Right. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate everybody being here and hanging out with us. Yeah, too many mats. We're going to have a lot of mittens. So, and I do think that AI could be used to solve problems for entertainment. It could be used to create new things and push the human race forward in a good direction. And it will be used for things that are very nefarious. So it'll be a double-edged sword, in my opinion. Oh, okay. Understood. Are you serious? In mythology, folklore, and speculative fiction, shapeshifting, the ability to physically transform oneself through a natural means, the idea of shapeshifting is found in the oldest form of the totemism and the shamanism, as well as the oldest existent literature and epic poems, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh in the Iliad, and the concept remains common in literature and popular culture. Examples of shapeshifting are vampires and werewolves. Hello, Zoe Boo. It's great to see you. Welcome. I hope that you're having a good evening. Welcome to the chat. I'll show you all some cool pictures of this concept right here. Okay. All right, so this is from Zeus turning Lee Keon into a wolf. I had a friend in college who everyone called Toad after the mushroom guy from Mario Kart. And I love watching the Smurfs from that TV show. I love watching that. All right, so I kind of put myself out of the way for a moment so y'all could see the full picture. Yeah, so that is him turning the dude into a wolf. And yeah, that's an example of shapeshifting from mythology. All right. And this is the German woodcut of the werewolf transforming. So werewolf is another kind of shapeshifter. Vampires and stuff like that too. Okay. Here we go. Popular shapeshifting creatures in folklore are werewolves, vampires, mostly of European, Canadian, and Native American, early American origin. Horai Nog, which I probably butchered that. Shapeshifting cobra of India and shapeshifting fox, spirits of the East Asia. Oh, hello, Zero. Great to see you. I am glad to see you, Zero. Great to see you, buddy. Can I get some light? Hold the darkness. You can. We have some extra light in the back that you could use. Yeah, Cheese Smurf sounds pretty cool. Yeah. India, shapeshifting east, the Hulai Jing of China, the Obake of Japan, Navajo skinwalkers, and gods, goddesses, and demons, and demonesses such as Norse Loki and the Greek Proteus. Shapeshifting to form of a wolf is specifically known as the lycanthropy, and creatures who undergo such change are called lycanthropes. It was also common for identity deities to transform mortals into animals and plants. The prefix word comes from the Old English word for man, while the popular idea of shapeshifter is a human being who turns into something else. There are numerous stories about animals that can transform themselves as well. Walks to the door open, then closes my eyes harshly. That that's more like I walk inside and shuts the door. Right. Examples of shape shifting in classic literature include many examples of the Ovid's Metamorphosis, Circe, transforming of Odious the men to pigs in Homer's Odyssey, and the Epiludius. Lucius became a donkey in the Golden Eos. Proteus was known among the gods as his shape-shifting both Menulus and Aertius captured him to obtain information and to succeed only by holding on, though his many transformations. Nereus told Hercules where to find apples in the Hesperides for the same reason. This is the in the form of the old woman wooing the Pomona right there. That's another example. Also, it in some texts Jesus was a shapeshifter. There they found some ancient text that was not included in the Bible. It was like some lost stuff that was in Egypt. And so it's not like canonically from the Bible, but allegedly he was a shapeshifter as an old man and as a young man that he was able to shapeshift. Well, I'm glad he got called out today too. That's good. Zero says pops head out of the door. God showed his Eos. Shuts door quickly. Scared. Theotianid Metis, first wife of Zeus and the mother of the goddess Athena, was believed to be able to change her appearance into anything she wanted. In one story, her pride led Zeus to trick her into transforming into a fly. He then swooed her because he feared that he and Metis would have a son who would be more powerful than Zeus himself. Metis, however, was already pregnant. She stayed alive inside his head and built an armor for her daughter. The banging of her metalworking made Zeus have a headache, so Hephaestus clove his head with an axe. Athena sprang from her father's head and grown into battle armor. Walks out and shuts the door. Maiden mother crone pauses, or something like that. Oh, that is very interesting, Zero. Very interesting. I'm glad you're moving around. In the British and Irish traditions, so fairies, witches, and wizards were all noted for their shapeshifting ability. Not all fairies could shapeshift, some having only the appearance of shapeshifting through their power, called glamour, to create illusions, and some were limited to changing their size, as with the spring guns, and others to a few forms, but others such as Headley Co. could change to many forms, and both human and supernatural wizards were capable of both such changes and inflicting them on others. And Zero says, exhales, exclaiming exhaustedly, "How's everyone tonight?" Walks around, disappears the engine room. So he exhales exhaustedly. And Zero, we're all doing good in the spaceship tonight. We're all having a good time talking about different things. We're just chilling. And also, Zoe, so this is, I'll explain. There was some, I'll call them Gnostic Gospels. So the Gnostic Gospels are things that are not canonically put in the Bible, and stuff about Jesus that could be true or could not be true. Oh, thank you, Zero. That's very nice. That Mary Toodles raises the boy properly. Thank you. That's very nice of you. So, and there is some information from Egypt, these scrolls that were found, that were not put in the Bible. So maybe they got lost or whatever happened, or they're made up. I mean, it's like take it with a grain of salt, but I think that there may be truth to it. So, allegedly, which I believe Jesus would be able to do this, of course, is that he was a shapeshifter, that he was able to appear as an older man or a younger man. That there's but it was not from the Bible. It was from Gnostic scriptures that were from some cave in Egypt somewhere that they found way later. And okay, Zero. And so basically, what happened was, other accounts say that Pontius Pilate visited Jesus during his Last Supper and wanted one of his, either his son or one of his own people, to take his place, and that Jesus was like, no, he has to go through it. But we don't know if that's exactly canonically correct or not, but allegedly those were things that, for whatever reason, were not put in the Bible because they were just like found recently. Like someone put them in a cave somewhere and they found them 2,000 years later. And, you know, there's also other Gnostic Gospels that say that Jesus was able to make a bird out of clay and breathe life into it. Right on, Brandy. I've already stated that this is a sweet book that is bitter to the stomach, spoken of in Revelation 10. Thank you, Zero, for the information. Yes, absolutely. And I appreciate all different perspectives on this matter, because with this group there's eclectic different beliefs and stuff, and it's nice to see what the different people think about things. It's not just one thing. And how do I get other Christians to my side? Well, Zero, we are not your enemy, and there's people in the chat that are on your side, and if people disagree with you, we're all going to have disagreements, and that's fine. And you just do your thing and continue to tell us about the information that you know of, and as time persists, you'll have more people to see things as you do, because you have a very interesting way of viewing things. So just keep on being you. You're doing fine. Yes, Zoe. And also, like the Muslims believe, for instance, that in the story that he created the bird out of clay and breathed life into it. That was something also that they believe. But the origins of it came from the Gnostic Gospels, where, you know, you have these different accounts of Jesus that were not put in the canonical Bible. Also, there's the book of Enoch, which is a prophet from, it was one of Noah's ancestors, and it goes into detail about the giants and the Nephilim creatures that were in creation in our world at that time. And I believe that the Orthodox Ethiopian Bible is the most accurate one, because it has everything in it. It didn't take anything out, because the King James Version took out stuff in the Bible. So you have these different groups that kept stuff and took away stuff. Now, the Catholic Bible has a couple of books that weren't taken out, but the King James translation, like the way they say things in Old English, you could kind of grasp it a little bit better than our English we talk about today. All right, Moki. Always fun seeing you all. Hope to chat tomorrow. Okay, Moki. We'll hope to see you tomorrow, my friend. Have a very good evening, good night for both you and your family. All right. All right. So that is basically the Book of Enoch. There's a bunch of different stuff that was not put in the canonical Bible that I do believe is canon, but they may have not have understood it at the time. Like, say they talk about aliens or the fall of the Watchers, they may have not have understood about what that was, and they may have, but now we know what this stuff is. So yeah, those are just some different things. So the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, I think, would be the most, has everything in it. But the King James, the way that they talk about it, like there's a King James Catholic Bible, so it has the extra books in it in the Catholic Bible, but it's talking in the King James way of speaking. Say, like, they'll say Adam and Eve, you will surely not die, and instead the King James version says ye will surely not die, because ye can be plural, because it's talking to both of them. So I think that the different Bibles have different information, and also the Gnostic Gospels have, and the Gnostic texts have very interesting things about Jesus and the other things and about the religion. Yeah. Zero says, which is why I asked and framed differently in perceptional acquaintance. Nods, thank you, sir. You're welcome, Zero. The emerald tables of Thoth screams from the crowd. Preach, brother, to the brothers. Right on, Zero. Right on. And for instance, it talks a little bit about in Greek mythology. Right here we have Veretimus transformed himself into an old woman to gain entry into Pomna's orchard. There he persuaded her to marry him. Exactly, Zoe, exactly. They may not have grasped it at the time. For instance, in Joe Rogan was talking on his podcast that chariots of fire, those were the UFOs that we see now. So they didn't know what to call them back then. And I was thinking very deeply when Jesus was brought into heaven. And it kind of reminds me of a UFO zapping someone up. So I do believe that there could be a correlation between them. And that there could be angels. Now, there's good ones and bad ones. But I do believe that there's a connection to them. Like, that would explain about that stuff that we see. So, and they just didn't know at the time about those things. It doesn't mean that they were wrong. And they didn't say that the Gnostic Gospels were incorrect. They just didn't think, they didn't really understand it. And here we go. In one table, the Dementor transferred herself into a mare. Not a mare, but a different type of mare. To escape Poseidon, but Poseidon counter-transformed himself into the stallion to persuade her, and succeed in the grape. Scared. Canis, having been raped by Poseidon, demand him that she be changed to a man. So this is transitioning a gender. Very interesting. He agreed, and she became Canios, a form he never lost, except in some versions upon deletion. I see your coin for the very many alien spaceship. It's quite shushes. It's quite Nickelback nods firmly. I always love this stuff. Hilarious, Zero. As a final reward to the gods for their hospitality, Brachios and Pilmon were transformed at their deletion into a pair of trees. Eos, the goddess of the dawn, secured immortality for her lover, Trojan prince Tinios, but not eternal youth, so he aged without dying, as shriveled and grew more and more helpless. In the end, Eos transformed him into a cicada. And yeah, skirt. And shout out to Zero. He's always really good at making chat laugh. And he says very great insight on things. Yeah, shout out to Zero. Sometimes metamorphoses transform objects into humans. In the myths, both Jason and Cadmus, one task set that the hero was to sew dragon's teeth on being sewn by the word metamorphosis into the belligerent warriors, and both heroes to throw a rock to trick them into fighting. Each other survived. Declinon and Pyrea repopulated the world after the flood. See, they talk about a great flood. Also, Zoe, there is a lot of talk through civilizations throughout the world about a great flood happening. We cannot deny that. And also, another thing that's interesting, there's in South America, there was a group of giants, a clan of giants, and they kept on trying to build pyramids on top of each other to reach the heavens, to go after one of their gods that was flooding the earth to get rid of giants. And all the way over in the Middle East, they talk about our god that was causing a great flood. So it's like all over the world globally, they talk about the same stuff. It's not in one place. So there's giants like the explorers that came from Portugal to come to some parts of South America saw giants and very tiny little people. Now they died off because of the disease and stuff that we brought over here, but there were giants and things here that survived the flood. And shout out to Zero. Alien taketh as alien sliced. Nods firmly, Adwell, young kind, your castle. Shanton, burden you. Oh, hail a captain, blessed from a king. Smiles, a captain is a king in the seas. Zero, that is so sweet of you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Yes, Zoe, the giant flood stories are connected. Exactly. And also, and we were studying one night with Sarah how all these different pyramids are all adjacent to each other all the way to China, to Africa, to South America. They're all adjacent. So I do think that there was some sort of a connection, and I do think that, for instance, there's a user I was talking to on another channel, and he was saying that the quartz is used by UFOs, or the orbs, that the quartz is used as a power source for the UFO, but they can't conceal the quartz, but they can conceal the UFO itself. So, and it would be interesting. So does have kinetic energy in it that can be used for energy. So it is true that could be used for that. So they're probably using that for. That's what you're seeing when people see the orbs and the light thing from a UFO. It's the quartz. And it's interesting that the ancient people used magic skulls to see different things that are going on. So I think that it was just an advanced technology from them that they brought here. And it's also confirmed from our faith that it talks about that they came here and gave us information. And we could use it for good or bad. Yes, Zoe, amen. And Bor, Baal, Odin, Thor, enough. Yes. Yes, those also. Particular nods towards aliens, sir. Yes. Yes, Zero, absolutely. And as I said, people can have their own beliefs and whatever. I appreciate, and that's what I like about this place, is where I want to bring people together from all different walks of life into one place to talk about these important topics. Yes, Liberty, crystal skulls, right now. So crystal skulls were used by the ancient people in South America to see things that were going on, sometimes also the future, but see things that were going on. They didn't have tablets and iPods and computers back then, so they used the crystal skull to do that. Now you're asking, this is the question of the hour, is how did they do that? And the way they did that was probably some advanced technology from the ETs or something that was on Earth that we rekindled later when we got back into this type of technology. So I believe the technology was always there, because the King of Spain, or one of the... And Zero, that's very funny, hilarious. And one of the people from Spain watching this. There is this. I was talking earlier. There's this battle that was happening, Liberty, where in England, in Britain, the Spanish were going to invade the British Isles and trying to bring. It was a Catholic Protestant war, and then Queen Elizabeth I was the queen at the time, and one of the people from Spain was watching the Spanish fleet get destroyed through his crystal ball. You see, that's like watching it on a live stream through a computer or watching it through a phone. But back then, that's what they were given, and it's some sort of technology that they thought was called magic. Like, they would think that we're doing something called magic. And it is like magic, but I do believe these other the fallen angels, the aliens, or both, whatever, had this technology revealed to us, and maybe it was technology that was always on Earth that God gave us. So I do think that there is a connection to this. Like alchemy, for instance, is chemistry. You know, like Merlin, if he was real or not, was like an outlet, like a chemist, and that. Like an octopus can shapeshift itself to look different, and so can a chameleon to fight off predators. Maybe there's certain people and organisms and other beings that can do things that we can't do. As I said, the example where I can't put my thumb all the way back, but my friend can, all the way to this hand. So I think that there are certain abilities some people might find unnatural. Right. So I'm basically talking about the shapeshifting, like we were yesterday, and also, but more detail about it that you didn't see. And also the crystal ball, because we talked about the crystals and how people can see the future or see things that are going on in different places through those crystals. Right, magic, but not in a demonic way. And Zoe, I do believe there is demonic magic at the same time, and there's good magic. I think there's good and bad. For instance, there was these British thinkers that were getting a crystal ball from an angel. But the angel suggested one of them cheat on the other's wife. So they determined that the angel was not from God because it wouldn't suggest that. So there is good magic and something that comes from God. But also there's something that can be from the evil side as well. So we have to use discretion from these type of things. So yes, you are correct, Zoe, that magic that is not demonic. Correct. Homework movie, Lucy. And the brain has 2.5 petabytes of information. Look, Laud. Whoa. Well, I didn't know that, Zero. Thank you for information. Yeah. Thank you, Zero, for the movie suggestion. All right. Now to a Celtic mythology. Celtic mythology, Pyrrhal was transformed by Éowyn into Aaron's shape. And Aaron transformed himself into Pyrrhal's so that they could trade places for a year and a day. Lil would kill Coed, transformed his wife and attends into mice to attack a crop in revenge. When his wife is captured, he turns himself into 3 clergymen in succession to pay ransom. Oh, I will, Liberty, thank you. Keep preaching, bro, and I'll let you have the table. Oh, thank you, Zero. Thank you. And Mathnawi, and Gwaidion transformed flowers into women named Bladowed. And when she betrays her husband, Lu and Lal and Gryphus, who is transformed into an eagle, they transform her again into an owl. Glyph Awu graped Goen, a virgin footholder with the help of his brother. As punishment, Math turned them into different types of animals for 1 year. Gwydion was transformed into a stag. So and Wolf, Glyphway into a hind boar and she wolf. Each year they had a child, and Math turned the 3 young animals into boys. we're farther out than both of our maps glances toward Biga, so isn't aware data puts away scroll. Scared. Goen, having accidentally taken the wisdom from the potion that Serdwin was brewing for her son, fled from her, though a succession of changes, which she answered with changes of her own. This ended when he turned into a grain of corn, and she turned into a hen and ate him. She became pregnant, and he was reborn as a baby. He grew up to be Bard Talisian in the Book of Talisin. He mentions many forms which he was able to take, including the Lantern Knight. Your discretion might be advised because we have a spicy picture right there. Alright. And tales abound about the Selkai, a seal that can remove its skin to make contact in human guise with people for only a short amount of time before it must return to the sea. Clan MacCuldrum of Uist's formation myths include a union between the founder and the clan shapeshifting Selk. Yeah. Another such creature is the Scottish Selkie, which needs the Selkin to regain its form. The great Siki of Sulskeri, the male Seki seduces a human woman. Such stories surrounding these creatures are usually romantic and tragedies. Notice about these things are quite perverted, these things. And, you know, the story of Jesus is much better than these gods and goddesses, what he did for humanity. You know, even people that may not believe he's divine, there's different religions that believe in Jesus differently, but he was much better than these beings. You see, they sound quite, quite wild. Scottish mythology features shapeshifters, which allows the various creatures to trick, deceive, and hunt and delete humans. Water spirits such as Isuge, which inhabits lochs and waterways in Scotland, were said to appear as horse or a young man. Other tales include kelpies who emerge from the lochs and rivers in the disguise of horse or a woman to ensnare and delete wary travelers. Tamlin, a man captured by the Queen of Fairies, is changed into all manner of beasts before being rescued. He finally turned into a burning coal and was thrown into a well, whereupon he reaped in his human form. The motif of capturing a person by holding him through all forms of transformation is common thread in folktales. Yeah, skirt. I got pepper. Who wants pepper hears those peppers calls to the crowd. I want peppers. Facts. I'll take some. The devil speaking all, as Angel holds back for Lay's nods. Ah, okay, okay, Zero. Oh, okay. Perhaps the best known Irish myth is that of Eowulf, who turned her stepchildren, the children of Lir, into the swans to be rid of them. Likewise, the Talkmark of Etain Fumach, jealous turns Etain into a butterfly, the most dramatic example of shape-shifting in Irish mythology. That Tuan Mac Caril, the only survivor of Parthon's settlement of Ireland. In his centuries-long life, he became successfully a stag, a wild boar, a hawk, and finally a salmon before being eaten, and as the wooing Etain reborn of himself. Heed Zephyr nods purple and gold mistflow. I always like to see the purple and gold mistflow. Scared. The Puka is a Celtic fairy, and also deft shapeshifter, he can transform into many different terrifying forms. Said Hab, the wife of the famous hero Theon Macum Hyel, was changed into a deer by the Druid for Dorish, which she spurned his amorous interests. And there you have this situation where you have these shapeshifters, and you know they're turning themselves into swan right there, and there's like a face like in the mountain, and the person's turned into swan. So you have that, and then you have over here this Norse and tectonic traditions. There is a significant amount of literature among shapeshifters that appear in a variety of Norse tales. In Lokasina, Odin and Loki taunt each other with having taken the form of females and nursing offspring to which they had given birth. Hilarious Zero. His man, Uel. And I never knew that they did that. 13th century Edda relates Loki taking the form of a Mar to bear Odin's steed, Selfern, which was fasted horse ever since the ever to exist, and also from form of a she wolf to bear for Fenrir. You see, they're changing their genders. Svig, okay, Svi Piddarger angered Odin, who turned him into a dragon. Despite his monstrous appearance, his lover, the goddess Phrygia, refused to leave his side when the warrior, having found the slough of Svipdagar in Phrygia, cursed him to be tormented by the tempest and shunned like the plague wherever he went. In the Hiduli Lujo, Phrygia transformed her protege Otar into a boar to conceal him. She also possessed a cloak of the falcon feathers that allowed her to transform into a falcon, which Loki borrowed on occasion. I cannot change your lives, changing you. I'm helping those grow that perceived, as well as those that have grown to steel, awaits harshly. Nice, awesome. And this is the troll. You know how we talk about trolls and stuff? This is the real troll. That's where it comes from. You know, so that is a troll like we talked to online, and yeah, this is from their mythology, right? And the the Volsguna saga contains many. Yes, I will be the David to that Goliath. Zero, yes. Volsgana saga contains many shape-shifting characters. Sigyr's mother changed into a wolf to help torment his defeated brother-in-law, which slow and enigmatic deaths. When one Sigmund survived, he and his nephew and son Sinjafalti deleted men wearing wolf skins. When they donned the skins themselves, they were cursed to become werewolves. The dwarf Endurai, described as being able to magically turn into a pike, Albert, his counterpart Richard Wagner ring das num elungan, using the Tarnhelm, takes on many forms, including a giant serpent and a toad in the failed attempt to intimidate Loki and Odin Wotan. I leave trolls under bridges, the vaults with wilt to open. I stand for you, sir, will become a sire. Nods. Ah, yes. Thank you, good sire. The vaults wilt be open. That is true. Farner was originally a dwarf, a giant, or even a human, depending on the exact myth, but in all variants, he transformed into a dragon, a symbol of greed, while guarding his ill-gotten hoard. His brother Otur enjoyed spending time as an otter, which led to his accidental slaying by Loki. In Scandinavia, there existed four examples of the famous race of she-wolves, known by the name of Maras, women who took on the appearance of huge half-human and half-wolf monsters that stalk the night in search of human or animal prey. If a woman gives birth at midnight and stretches the membrane that envelopes the child, it is brought forth between four sticks and creeps. Though it naked, she will bear children without pain, but all by those who be shamans and girls of Maras. Kings do leave prisoners and vaults, nods, while the door closes, sire. Yes, leave the prisoners in there. Absolutely. And you got this, the legend of Fagin's fear turns into a giant snake. Wotan stands in the background illustration. And so Odin is in the background right there. And there you got the giant snake just chilling right there. And that is how that works. So that's, very telling. I saw this really cool picture one time of these Germanic priestesses. Yeah, women had a very big role in ancient Germany, and these Germanic priestesses, they were talking to a giant snake, and I'm like, he's very courageous. And, alright, so we got Mistress of the North attacking, bear with me, Vine Moinin in the form of giant eagle with the troops in her back as she tries stealing Sampo, the Finnish epic. So we have, this looks very interesting to those that are watching, and I think that looks similar to an angel, or a fallen angel, and that is what they're challenging right there. So that depiction is like of a fallen angel type being, with its wings. Alright, and putting webcam back on. Okay. Alright. Okay, so in Indian, the common male cobra will become in Nag. A common female cobra will become in Nagin. About 100 years of penance after being blessed by Lord Shiva, they attain a human form that they have ability to shapeshift into any living creature, and you live far more than 100 years without getting old. And Yogins were associated with powerful shapeshifting into female animals. Alright. So, that is it for today. And we'll continue more about the shapeshifting tomorrow, and also the Spongebob stuff, as we'll talk. I'm getting some more stuff I'm going to talk about on the other stream. We'll talk about Spongebob. I'm getting more what I want to talk about. I have some interesting episodes to tell you all about in the stream next time. So, alright everybody, so basically, thank you all for all the likes and being here and subscribing and participating in the stream. I appreciate every single one of you. And I hope you all have a very good evening. Thank you for coming. See you all tomorrow on tomorrow's stream, and peace.